have, I have 4 o'clock and, I'm gonna calling this meeting to order. And, Jackie, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
For your heart, repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Director McMillan. And roll call, please.
Director Calleguas.
Yes.
Director McMillan. Here. Director Robert.
Here.
Director Quady.
Here.
Director Avila.
Here. Okay, we have a forum. And it does not look like we have members of the public.
There are no members of the public in the room. Let me just double check. There's no members of the public online either.
All right, great. With that being said, item 3, presentations, introduction of the new senior control technician, Mark Bellinger.
I don't see either of our presentation recipients present at this time.
Okay, so we will skip item A and B and move on to item 4. Do we have any items to be added to the agenda?
No items.
No items to be added to the agenda. Moving on to 5, the consent calendar. Has everybody had time to review the consent calendar? Do we have any?
I have a few questions on item 5, B and C.
Okay. Go ahead. Item 5B, the
Look at my pages here.
payment register for the district's activities.
This is item 5B on page 81 of 168. Security services contract, I believe, which has a total amount of 51,180. I guess my question is this for Calleguas headquarters? The security services?
Security services that we approved, because I don't see Omar
Yeah.
back here.
All our unmanned facilities around the county.
All unmanned facilities, that wasn't sure whether just for
They
the.
drive around in the car and check the
They
facility.
do come to the headquarters as well and drive around the lake.
Yes, they do.
They do drive around here as well in the, like, for their outreaches of the property.
That's not the full amount. I believe when we approved the contract, there was about 100,000 a year.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, this just appears to be a number of payments. They must have just invoiced us all at
It's
once.
about 4 or 5 payments totaling about 51,000 at one time. I wasn't sure whether it's this facility or throughout town or service area. That was my question. I guess the other question is, are there any less expensive ways for that we could look into to cut costs?
We did competitively bid this contract. We are continuing to explore technological alternatives as well. We have some cameras here. We don't have them quite as much in remote parts of the system, but that is part of the game plan.
Thank you.
I also, myself and Tebow did go on a ride along with the sheriffs in the region. My goal for that was to figure out how much do they patrol around our area and how much time do they have, and see if we could work a partnership where they could look at our areas and potentially see some costs there. So haven't done anything with that yet, but have some information now.
Okay, thank you. Next item is on page 83 of 168. Again, just for my clarification, City of Camarillo, a credit of 58,728. I understand it's for North Pleasant Valley desalter. What's LRP credit?
Jennifer, you want to take that one?
The LRP program is the local resources program where Metropolitan makes an investment in the development of local resources. And so they go through a contract at the beginning when they're doing project planning. And based on the amount of water produced through the project, they get a monthly credit back against the water that they were able to produce. And that's from Met.
So it's a MET we are passing through to our purveyors.
That's correct.
Correct.
Do they have this program on an ongoing basis or only one time?
It is currently active, but it's my understanding that they may be ending it at some point.
Okay.
Because they had an ultimate goal of how many acre feet of water they wanted to subsidized through local development, and they're approaching that amount right now. So I'm not sure the future of the project or program, but, you know, as projects come up, that's always something we can immediately check with Met to see if it's something we could take advantage of.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. Moving on, page 89 of 168. Easement extension with Oak Park Plaza LLC for TWSD meter station, $60,000. So my question is this a construction easement, temporary or permanent? And what was the original cost compared to $60,000?
Fernando's going to handle it.
Okay.
Director Pacala, good question. That is for the temporary construction easement at that location. We had an agreement to be able to extend the easement on a per monthly rate. And the construction did take longer than originally planned, so that was the cost for the additional time to use that temporary construction. Now, I don't have the numbers of what the original number was for the permanent easement. I can get you those.
That's fine, but it was based on the prior easement you negotiated, you just extended and paid them.
It was actually based on an appraised value.
Oh, okay.
Appraised value.
In conjunction with the permanent easement acquisition. So the temporary easement element was also based on that appraised value.
Yes, and it was an extension of that.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a comment.
Thank you.
The next one is page 90 of 168, easement extension with Rancho Simi Recreation. That looks good, 9,175 compared to 6. The last, I guess that's the last one I have, yeah. The last one I have, I guess, on this one is 95 of 168, Best Krieger LLP. What is this legal services for? 132,984. What type of legal service?
Related to the Las Posas and OPV groundwater
Oh,
adjudication.
it's the groundwater related.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody else have any questions for the consent calendar? With that being said, looking for a motion for the consent calendar.
I so move.
We have a second. Second. We have first and a second. Roll call, please.
Director Pala.
Yes.
Director McMillan.
Yep.
Director Robert.
Yes.
Director Quady.
Aye.
Director Avila.
Aye. Okay, the motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Consent calendar is done. Six, so we don't have any action.
We do not have any action. items.
Okay, we do not have any action items right now at this moment. We're moving on to the reports, starting with the general manager and staff reports, the monthly status report. Very quickly, before we get going on the monthly status report, to the board, I'll catch Director McMillan afterwards. I'm gonna request that we're gonna start doing this one a little bit different. I would like the board to come prepared with the numbers that they would like to review. So we're not going through the whole thing aimlessly. And I'm gonna ask that the general manager come to the board with 5 highlights, five items that she would like to specifically pick out, the great achievements of our staff. To move things along a little bit better. And with that being said, the monthly status report. There's
Maybe approximately 5 in case there's
Yeah,
more of that. Yeah.
5 is a good round number to start with.
okay. Does anyone have any questions on the risks? Water policy and strategy?
Mr. President, did you say that GM will provide 5 top? I didn't follow it.
Yes, so starting with next month's monthly
that's
status
fine.
report.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I will come to the board with, or I and the managers collectively will settle on approximately 5. And we will highlight those as part of this discussion.
It's an opportunity to bring to the board some of the great achievements and just, make them shine, right? Right now, they're just in the packet. And unless we specifically call them out, they're not getting discussed. And sometimes, there's recognition.
But I do have a couple of questions and comments on 7A-1.
Okay.
Page 126.
Is that under partnerships, 7?
This is GM's report, page 126. Page 126 of 168 of our package.
Okay, go ahead.
This one is about under water policy strategy, Calleguas Ventura water wheeling agreements. I understand by reading this, this is for 2,000 acre feet for wheeling during emergencies. And also it includes the,
Not exactly.
no,
Okay, so there's two parts of this. The agreements that have been brought to Metropolitan's, what was then the One Water and Stewardship Committee meeting for information, they will be brought back on Monday for a vote as well as brought to the Met Board of Directors. There's two pieces of this particular agreement puzzle. One is a wheeling agreement. So under that conditions, that's the 2,000 acre feet. Ventura would like 2,000 acre feet a year of their state water project allocation wheeled to them via Metropolitan system, our system, and the planned interconnection. So that's one agreement. The other agreement covers emergency water supply with respect to there's some other agreements to this. I will be bringing them all to our board in next month with a presentation to explain them. But the two that involve Met, the emergency water one had to go to Met because if Ventura delivers water to us under an outage, we would then be paying them back after the outage. And that would involve delivering state water project water from one contractor to another into another service area. And under the state water contract, you have to have a separate agreement for that.
okay. So basically you would have two different agreements. One would be for 2,000 acre feet wheeling agreement with Metropolitan and Calleguas and the city of Ventura.
Correct.
The other agreement would be just for emergencies.
Between the three of us. Yes.
Yes. So the emergency agreement is still for 2,000 acre feet or some other number?
There isn't a specific number placed on it. It's guided by each agency meeting the needs of its own customers first and then trying to help the other if they can. And then paying back that water after the fact.
I see.
So it's not limited to a certain volume of water. It is limited the circumstances under which that water can be delivered. Met specifically excluded droughts. So it'd be a scheduled outage or an unscheduled outage due to a disruption, like an infrastructure failure. There are other agreements. Those are just the two that involve Met. There's another one just between us and Ventura, and all of this as its underpinning has an agreement between us, Ventura, and United. And I'll explain it all in April.
So by reading, I thought we have 2,000 acre feet and then that's both. I didn't really understand what I read, I guess. Thank you for that. Mainly I brought this up because I know Ventura County used to have 5,000 acre feet of state water project. I don't know whether city of Ventura has only 2,000 acre feet.
No, they have 10,
Okay, they have 10.
but they're leasing some of it to San Gorgonio.
United, they're leasing other Port Hueneme water.
Well, so there was 20,000 originally.
Right.
I think it's 2,750 of that was transferred to Met when PHWA annexed. There remains 10,000 acre feet for Ventura, 5,000 for Casitas, and the remainder for United. Did I get that right? I think I have that right.
That's fine.
But I'll be sure to present it next month.
Yes, yes. My main thrust was if they have more, can we get more water from them during emergencies? That's really what I was trying to get.
The way the agreement is structured for emergencies, they can deliver water to us from any of their sources.
Okay,
And so it's not constrained by total volume, except to the extent of what they can supply. And our demand for it, where we can move that water in the system.
thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Pacala. We have anything on external affairs? Anyone have questions?
Oh,
You have,
I still have one more.
okay, let's hear it.
And 7A1, page 126, same page, what we were looking before. This talks about metropolitan, potential amendment to the Metropolitan Water District Act. When I read this, I thought it was very good for us because we have only one member for the Metropolitan Water District. If Metropolitan Water District approves this alternate member, and as this write-up says, that if our primary member is not available, then alternate would go vote for it.
Yes, just with one clarification, the Metropolitan Water District Act is actually a state legislation. So in order to make that change, it would actually have to occur, be performed by the state legislature. It's not within Met's control to change the Metropolitan Water District Act. So that makes this change pretty significant to try to implement.
A can of worms.
Some might term it that, yes.
But is there other ways that they could have an agreement between agencies and metropolitan instead of changing the act?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Okay, I thought it's a good thing if it gets.
And we're in supportive of it because should Director McMillan be on vacation or something,
Exactly.
we lack any representation at Met. Whereas if one of the larger agencies that has a multiple rep, MODOC, San Diego County, LA, their remaining board members split their vote percentage.
Right.
So even if one of them shows up, they get the whole vote percentage.
Very unfair.
The nice
It's
thing,
good for us.
and if we have someone else who wants to be on the Met board, it's a good opportunity for them to come and get introduced to the board.
Yes.
And so we would be going together, assuming this legislation got.
Very good for succession planning and cross training.
Yes.
That's it. Thank you, President.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to external affairs. Anything on external affairs? Moving on to water resources. Any questions on water resources? Moving on to engineering. Do we have questions on engineering? Operations and maintenance.
Well, I just had a comment. I was happy to see that they're started exercising the valves. It's listed there. A good thing.
Very good. Human resources and risk management. And finance. I'm sure we're gonna hear about finance very soon when we talk about the committees. All right, and IT. All right, well, thank you, directors. Moving on to January 2025 water use and sales, December 2024 power generation, and January 2025 investment summary reports. Sue.
Good evening.
Evening.
Dan is out, so I am taking over his duties. Just a second. Share. Hey. Sorry, I'm having a hard time getting this to start the slideshow. There it is. Okay, so this is for January. And I'll just jump right in. It's a snapshot of where we were at the end of January. We sold a lot of water in January. We expected to sell about 44.50 and we sold 57.55. So that's going to be kind of the headline of the night. We have great water sales right now. For the year, we're actually 4,000 square feet over what we expected. And with that, everything kind of has a good flow. So potable water sales versus budget. You can see right around November, we started to exceed each month. And over the last 12 months, it's been since July that we've exceeded almost every single month. This is the Met bill. We bought $8 million, sorry, 8,000 total water sales. We stored 2.16 million, and that makes our total water purchase from Metropolitan's about $6 million. With the CRC, RTS, and LRP adjustments, it ends up being right around $7 million. If you have any questions, feel free to jump in. I know it's pretty dry stuff, but. The brine discharge is below what we expected this time, but it fluctuates. It goes up and down. And overall, it's really not impactful to our budget. And acre fees, feet discharge per year, we're we're down about 100. I just did that. Okay. Power generation, this is for the month of December. We're always behind 2 months on that one. And it went down. Flow conditions were not prime, optimal. And so for the year, we are still above what we budgeted. And that is the good news there. January revenues, as we talked about, water sales were great. So we are above our budget that we expected. And we're at 64.3%. We would expect to be at 58.9. And Wes, my battery just died. Ever have one of those nights where this doesn't go real smoothly? That would be me. Oh, thank you.
Yes, Sue is also pinch hitting on short notice, so we really appreciate you being here tonight.
I got a call this morning. Thank you. We can go to the next slide. Okay. So basically, I'm coming with a really good report tonight. And we're going to keep talking about the revenues.
Very good, thank you.
I'm in a different slideshow. It should start with WUS. Oh, I sent it to you earlier.
All right, how about this? Let's come back to it after the well, the next one's Dan too, but let's go on to, do we have a general counsel report?
I'll keep it really brief. A few highlights since the last meeting. Working with the emergency response coordinator on an agreement to participate in the Ventura County Regional Radio Network. That'll likely be coming to the board in a few months. Work with the manager of HR on a consultant contract for insurance review services, which applies across the board to consultants, construction contractors, that kind of thing, to make sure that their insurance documents that they provide match the requirements of the contract. Continue to coordinate with special counsel on construction, environmental, and groundwater issues. And attended a legal affairs committee meeting concerning an appeal of a Prop 26 rates case.
That's Aqua Legal Affairs Committee, just so
Yeah.
everyone's clear, we don't have one.
Water Agency's Legal Affairs Committee, I'm the district's appointed representative. And they have meetings as required. And this one was with respect to a request for appellate briefing assistance on a rates case. So those are just a few highlights since the last meeting.
Thank you, council. All right, we're gonna do committee reports. Jackie, would you like to give the finance committee report?
Sure, sorry.
Sorry.
Tip of my mouth. Yeah, Dan let us then do the auditor's report. And we're in a very good position. I think we're about 14% in an improved position. And a lot of that was due to our not our power sales, but our water sales. And our expenses were down, and he's doing a great job refinancing some of our bonds. We've actually made a good amount of income and interest on some of them. And the decision was made by the committee to go ahead and put an RFP out for a new auditor. The auditor that we've had, they had a 3-year contract, and then we extended it for 1 year twice. So they actually had 5 years with us. Staff was very pleased with them, but we thought it was time to just go out and see what else is out there for us. And we're going to allow the auditor this time to go ahead and put forward a bid, and they may be selected and they may not, but we just felt it was a healthy start.
Good. Right decision, right decision. All right. Sue, are you ready or should we do?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back to Sue. Thank you, Jackie.
Let's get back to where we left off. Cash and investments. So the cash investments have gone up. The only thing really notable here is that the restricted investments went down by $750,000. That's the interest payments on our bonds. It was paid out as of January 1st. Last slide. Yes, that is the last slide. Okay.
All right.
Let me bring up the next one, which is the financial statements. Are you bringing this up, guys? Just told me my screen sharing was stopped. Okay. So water sales, once again, the first portion of that, you've already heard from me, what we sold year to date, we've exceeded budget. The other side of that shows you in dollars what that means, and it's about $1.5 million over what we budgeted that we've sold already to date. Next slide. So this is admin expenses versus our total interest expense. I'm sorry, revenue and expense. The amount that we budgeted, we have spent less than on admin services. And the amount that we expected to get in, we've received more, which is always good. It's very indicative of conservative budgeting. And below that is operating income compared to principal and interest expense. Our operating income, again, just that water sales are up. So it's quite a bit up. Our principal and interest expense is down, and that is due solely to the 2010B being refinanced, so we're paying less. And that will continue to go down compared to what we thought we would be spending as the months go by. Financial snapshot, this is very similar to what we've already seen. I think what I could mention is that the total operating expenses for the month, we actually spent a little bit more than we anticipated. And that is due to diesel fuel. We purchased about $200,000 worth. And also we made more in interest than we expected to. And I'm sorry. It was due to the expenditures of the diesel, water, and interest expense. Sorry. And that brings our total change in net assets to a positive $2.5 million. Go ahead. Financial snapshot, cash, investments restricted. Already saw that in the previous slideshow. This one's just slightly different because it accounts for market changes. Next. Financial ratios. I know who likes these. So the current ratio, I mean, all of the ratios are very steady, and that's what we would expect. Current ratio is up slightly. The more above 1, the better the health the district is in. The quick ratio, which is current assets, inventory, prepaids over current liabilities, is up slightly. Again, the higher, the better. Debt ratio is going down, and we expect it to continue to go down. Next. Debt service coverage, we're looking very good there, 2.83. We budgeted to be at 1.75. Anything over 2 is optimal. And times interest earned. And this is gone down a little bit, but it fluctuates up and down throughout the year. And that is my presentation.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Questions from the board? Thank you, Sue.
Good job.
Thanks, Sue.
Appreciate you. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the committee meeting reports. Does anyone from the board have questions on the finance?
Finance committee.
We're gonna move on to, if no questions, do you have a?
No, I don't have a question. I thought we discussed the finance committee and they were going to go back and reconvene.
Yeah, so we just, they discussed it at their committee.
Right.
The two of them, it wasn't open to the three, so
Right.
this is our opportunity for the three of us to ask questions.
Oh, okay.
All right, the housing committee.
We met yesterday. Unfortunately, there was the same situation with only two board members. But it was, discuss some of the options for, predominantly staff housing 3. We went to go look at staff housing 3, and then discuss those options for that house. And came up with a conclusion and,
So part of that, to expand on what you're talking about, is it would be very expensive to work with Department of Dam Safety to build to make the roads usable for bringing in a truck to bring a new trailer in. So based off of that, location 1 and 2, which are closer and don't require navigation around the lake, they're going to bring back options to the board for those. House 2, one of the staff members mentioned that one might need to be replaced because of the condition of the ground that it was placed on. It wasn't compacted, so it wasn't properly installed. House 3, yeah, I personally felt some different ways that aren't really positive. We should have been taking better care of those homes, upkeep, general maintenance, and I'm gonna ask that from staff. Once we fix this house, I want to see a plan presented to the board on how we are going to upkeep these houses and make sure that they are regularly maintained and kept in a condition that we would all want to live in. It wasn't good. And for the other houses, so I guess the committee, like what staff proposed, which is to completely remodel, fireproof that house, protected against wildfires. And at that point, one of the other homes, residents of the other homes would move to that one, and we would be able to take care of the other 2.
so and just to kind of throw some numbers at it. So basically all the options, the container houses, modular houses, trailers, all those included or would have to include a $400,000 to $700,000 cost to modify basically the access to get back there. The one option that doesn't have that cost is just remodeling because you can bring smaller pieces. Touring the home, bones felt, looked good. It felt solid. I think everything else inside and outside and on top should be redone. But it's reasonable that a remodel would put it in good condition. And the soil there has been compacted, so it doesn't have the issues that the other, I think housing 2 has, where it keeps having to be leveled because of the settling. So it's the cheapest and fastest option.
And the permits from Department of Dam Safety would take about a year, I think staff mentioned.
That's our best guess.
least a
It took us 9 months to get them just for borings.
So,
Yeah.
so for a remodel, it would be about 2 to 3 months.
Before the difference.
Yes, before you do anything.
Why do we need permits from building and dams?
From the division, the California Division of Safety of Dams, because the access to this site
Goes over a day.
goes over dikes and dams that they have jurisdiction over. So including the spillway, and we can't make any modifications to those facilities without their approval.
And there's no other location we can put the homes?
I actually brought up an idea. I said, let's put up a bunch of cameras on location 3, thermals all around the property and place them again, a different part.
But one of the challenges with that is that if we only have 2 residents at the lake, there's a much more significant burden on
No,
the 2 that remain.
The idea was put 2 houses, say in location 1, cameras location 3, and house 2. Now you're only replacing, you're getting rid of 1 and you're replacing 2 in one spot, but.
My concern with that would be impact to utilities. I do think if we're looking at speed and cost, I suspect remodeling would still be slightly better. We did look at, there's a very convenient cul-de-sac, like 100 yards right behind it, but there's a HOA and a wall. Walls can be torn down and put back up, but the HOA would probably be a more difficult thing, and there's a future effort to have that be emergency access, but we didn't want to wait for that for this project, so.
Right, and that leads to the other, thing, these houses, whatever we do should definitely be built thinking about wildfire. They are difficult to access, long roads that aren't easily to protect, especially if you think about if a semi truck can't get to those houses through those roads, how would a fire truck get to them? So we definitely need to build other avenues to exit in case of an emergency.
I've been hearing a lot of radio ads about fireproofing homes.
Yeah.
And like one of them is the paint is on something text, I don't know, paint the house once and it's fireproof.
Well,
And they've got something, a coating you can put on the roof too.
If we're removing most of everything, there's products now that you can put, there's fiber cement boards and different types of roofs and stuff. But the other thing is, when I was a kid, I got rushed to the hospital. But trying to drive quickly on that road with all the boulders, and then after the boulders, it's lake or hill. How long, what's the quickest you get through that?
There's been teenagers living at the lake in the past, so I suspect it's been tried, but I wasn't there to time it.
I'd say an uncomfortable amount of time if there's an emergency, so having that back access, it would take you 30 seconds to get into a cul-de-sac road and out for it.
definitely a liability.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, it's an important improvement and we are definitely working on that engineering.
Just a question, Mr. President, do we, General Manager, do we need building and safety permits for the remodel?
Not.
Okay, that's good news.
But I did bring that up and I asked staff to treat this as if we needed to do every single permit.
But they will be up to code.
100% up to code.
We're self-inspecting on all that, so we will hold ourselves to this code standards without having to go through the processes.
Yeah. It appears that just remodeling those at this time is appropriate. That's what your committee has come up with.
Or house 3, or the one house.
Only
For
for
house number 3, which we said that we would evaluate this, because evaluating the other 2 houses at this point doesn't give us an advantage to the timeline or cost. Getting house 3 going does give us an advantage to time and cost. So, because they would have to play musical chairs kind of. We said, let's focus on 3, let's do that. And then 2, the staff's going to come back with a presentation with estimated costs and options for those as well.
Okay. And so once they're remodeled, I don't know what the life expectancy of this structures would be. Is it similar to a new structure or is it going to be half of the new structure, whatever it is?
You want to handle that question?
Sure. So once we agree that we're going to renovate the house, replace the roof, and do annual maintenance or regular maintenance that's necessary, we're expecting that home to last 25, 40, 50 years, just like any other home that's maintained, that is receiving the appropriate attention. As far as how it would differ to a regular typical home, maybe some of the items like the roof may not be as durable, that we may have to replace because it's fire hardened. That's something that would be different and we would have to just maintain again. But as far as the entire unit, 25, 40, 50 years, as long as we're maintaining.
What type of foundation? Is it a mat foundation or pile foundation?
Yeah, so this is a manufactured home. It sits on jack stands. There are seismic jacks that are needing to be annually leveled. It's sitting on compacted soil. So house 3 has not had the settlement issues that we've observed at house 2. So as far as the foundation, it looks like it's structurally sound. The home itself looks also leveled. Doors are opening correctly. Windows aren't out of plumb.
It didn't feel soft or creaky or shaky or anything.
Yes, so foundation is compacted material.
I'll mention most of the building practices for a model will be the same as a regular house. So you could envision, a house that needs a full remodel, gut, everything. It's the same thing. There's studs and rafters.
And I did ask staff to also let us know about a further inspection, taking down some of the drywall, checking for termites and mold and those things.
I do have an update on that. We are scheduled to start that investigation later this week as well. And this part of the inspection that we performed, we also had two contractors come out and look at the home itself. One of the contractors lives in a manufactured home. It's built in the 70s. He renovated his home. Showed me photos. Couldn't tell that it was a manufactured home from the photos, renovations that he performed. So we looked underneath the house, looked at the entire structure. Yes, the home needs a new roof, some window replacement, updating the interior, the cabinets, lighting. But the structure is structurally sound.
And as we were leaving, I did want to note that I noticed the big tarp covering house two's roof. I'm guessing that's for water leaks. So another concern with house two. We shouldn't get to that point ever.
So as we were talking broadly about all the different various permits that you have on these activities, there would be that part source protection as well, right? Source protection, in other words, from the I want to say Department of Health Services because I go to the department.
Oh,
Regional
you
board,
mean-
being able to protect the lake from runoff.
Yes, so any work we do would be conducted in a way to prevent any sort of runoff issues. The houses are all on sewer. They're not on septic, just, so that there isn't that risk.
But it's just the movement and the construction activity. I would just wonder if you had to watch you while you do that.
We're not required to get a permit, but we will use common sense practices to prevent any sort of issue.
As a special district, they're exempt from building permits.
Yes, and it's not actually it's not that we're a special district, it's water and wastewater. There's a state law.
But also for the remodel of unit 3, I don't foresee any land movement or anything like that.
No, you'd want to handle any demolition debris carefully. You'd want to keep dust down as you're doing work, those kinds of things.
Yeah, I do gotta say that my initial inclination was to wait for that gate to be built and recommend that we replace house 3 as well. But it looks like we're on a little bit of a hurry to move people around and get it wrapped up.
Part of that concern is what's going on with LA right now. Contractor availability, pricing, materials availability, all that stuff. The sooner that, LA is still clearing out debris, the sooner we get rolling a little, it's a little better than, I'm sure will save us some hiccups later on.
Any other questions on housing committee?
Oh, thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone. We're moving on to board member reports.
Checking 3. 8 is 3 available.
I'm sorry.
3 presentations. Are you done?
No, we're going to push them in the next meeting. Thank you.
Okay, board member reports, starting with the Aqua Region 8 Director.
Just the Aqua quarterly policy and committee meetings are March 13th.
Aqua Joint JPI.
I have received as staff has gone through, and it was on number 85 on the monthly status report, the workers' compensation, liability, and property risk assessment. And the things I wanted to bring out that I didn't see in 85 was that the EMOD for the workers' comp and liability programs is under 1, 0.67 and 0.5. So that's a great job by staff keeping that down. So that's the claims per cost. And so that's better ratio to be with. And then, there were 3 workers' compensation claims. As it says, 0 liability claims and 0 property claims since the last risk assessment. And JPIA is coming in with a program review of the 811 call before you dig, cross connections and serious injury and illness reporting. So I just wanted the board to make sure they understood that. Otherwise, sounds like a great report and thank you, staff.
Thank you, Director Quady. AWA? Meetings tomorrow.
Yeah, I was gonna say, sorry, the DC trip messed up on my timelines. No meeting since last board meeting. Board meeting is tomorrow. Confirming appointments, I think. Just have to look at it, but I think the big thing is where they're confirming board member appointments.
Thank you. Fox County GMA?
Yes, the February 26th board meeting was canceled for GMA. We had a special meeting on February 12th, which I reported on February 19th. So nothing to report on Fox County GMA.
Thank you, Director McCauley. Director McMillan, Metropolitan.
It's just a few items. On February 20th, I zoomed in on the Delta Construction Authority and Gail Luna, who is the primary representative, announced that I'd be coming in as the alternate. That was good to hear. February 25th to the 26th, I attended MWD Executive Committee in Camp for Water. And on the 3rd, the Legal and Claims Planning Committee.
Director McMillan. For LAFCO, we have not had a meeting. The meeting for this month has been canceled. BCREA.
Yes, I attend the first meeting as a director for RVC, Ventura County Regional Energy Alliance. This particular board has 12 board members. 7 are city representatives, 4 are special districts, including us. The board elected Ventura Vice Chair as the chairman for this association. And they also elected Santa Paula Councilwoman as the vice chair for the Energy Association. In this particular meeting, they had a full agenda. They have awarded $14 million for different EV upgrades, EV infrastructure, business efficiencies, lots of contracts and agreements with cities, special districts, and consultants. Most of the agenda is all about grants, award of contracts, award of grants. Maybe if next time, if we still have monies available for us, if we have a need for any of these grants, we could look into applying for this type of grants.
Very good.
Director Pacala, did that cross over from what the city councils were versus go to special districts too?
Well, my understanding is any of the members could apply for it. When you say crossover,
Members meaning the members who have representatives of the board?
you're talking about,
The board for the Ventura County Regional Energy Alliance.
right.
You have a mix. That's what you're saying. And
So there are cities, 4 special districts, and 6 cities and the county of Ventura.
right.
12.
And so of the grants that were issued, those were of who all got those grants?
Oh, who all got those grants? That's the question. City of Thousand Oaks, City of Ventura, county did not apply or did get any grants. City of Oxnard, several cities got, special district, Ventura Unified School District got grants.
The school district.
Yeah. And none of the other special district applied. VRST did not apply. And who is the other special? Ventura County Community College District did not apply. So I think in the future, we would have an opportunity for Calleguas to apply if there is money available.
Very good. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Director McCollum. BCSDA.
No meeting since last board meeting.
Okay. All right, now we're going to go around the room. Director's list of admin code reimbursable meetings. Director McMillan.
Yes, on February the 20th, I attended the West Ventura County Business Alliance's networking breakfast. On the 21st, I attended CSDA's Ledge Committee and CSDA's Leadership Workshop. On March the 3rd, the Financing Committee. On March the 4th, I did ethics training. On March the 5th, which is today, we had the Women's Luncheon in Agora Hills and Night's Board meeting.
Thank you, Director McMillan. Dr. Quady.
On the 20th, I attended the AWA Waterwise breakfast. On the 21st, there was the Aqua Region 8 interim meeting. And on the 23rd was a travel day to DCA. I disappeared on the 24th. For the 25th through the 27th was the Aqua 2025 DC experience. And then it's a nice board meeting. Oh, I have a finance committee as well. Yeah. That was the other day, Monday.
Thank you, Director Quady. Director Bacala.
On 20th, I attended AWA Waterwise Networking hybrid meeting. United General Manager spoke at the meeting. On February 2nd, no, 20th, I'm sorry, 26th, I applied AWA CCWUA meeting in Camarillo. Wes Richardson, our IT manager, was elected the president for this year. Congratulations. And I was able to join our inspectors for lunch at this meeting.
And your photos in the monthly status report. Yes, with them.
Kat, thank you. She was there with us and I was able to chat with them. It was interesting to see. We have tenured employees, more than some of them are 30 years plus. I didn't realize that we have employees with that longevity.
Yeah, our average still 14.
It's actually 12 because we've had some retirements of longtime employee. Yeah. Rob probably retiring alone, probably not down 2 years.
Average.
Because he was, I think, over 35.
Wow.
And the Las Virgenes Municipal Water District engineer made a presentation about pure water. It's the first time I got to listen to it.
Oh, good.
It was very informative. I was glad I was there.
Thank you, Director Bacala.
Moving on February 27th, I attended GMA Water Master Fiscal Committee meeting. And this committee includes the chair and vice chair of GMA. Of course, there's the same people for the water master, as we know. There were several people who attended this meeting, including our vice chair for PAC. I know Ian is our chair for PAC, Las Cruces Valley. I was there and the city of Oxnard was there, United Water Conservation was there, entire fiscal staff from County of Ventura was there. There were very good questions asked by the committee members and also by the audience. And the staff is going to come back and revise their budgets. What was interesting to me is currently GMA charges $64 per acre foot for the pumping charges. The proposed budget for fiscal year 25, no, just 23, 20, next fiscal year is $3 million compared to less than 1 million in the current fiscal year. There's a big increase. We don't know where we end up. This work is in progress, but there's a big increase in the overall programs that they're presented.
Wow. So
If that were to happen,
drastically increased.
this acre foot cost will go up to about $75 per acre foot. So it's going to be interesting to see how the pumpers, how the other stakeholders are going to look at all these programs that are included in this budget.
Very interesting.
Again, I was happy that I was able to participate in this, so I get to know more about GMA.
I am very glad you thoroughly enjoy GMA.
I want to contribute.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Robert.
Sure. So since last board meeting, I attended the Aqua DC conference, which I was very happy to attend. It was a lot of good conversations, a lot of good presentations, a lot of knowledge to learn and be exposed to. Some things you just can't grasp without being there. So I was really happy to be there. That was the 24th to the 28th. And yesterday's ad hoc staff housing committee meeting. Tonight's board meeting.
Thank you, Director Robert. I attended the AWA Waterwise on the 20th, 24th through 28th. I attended the Aqua DC conference. We did meet with Congresswoman Brownlee, Congressman Padilla. Carbajal, Senator Padilla's staff. We met with Senator Schiff's staff as well. And it was great to really present to them information about our agency, what we do, what we're striving to do, and asking them to keep us in mind when they're creating their budgets and the projects that we have coming up. So it was
We do intend to bring a presentation on Aqua DC at the next meeting.
Okay.
So we can share more information with the board members who weren't there about what activities were involved. Charlotte and I just needed a little more time to pull that together.
Got it. Thank you. All right. So after that, on the 3rd, I attended the Finance Committee. On the 4th, I attended the Housing Committee and tonight's board meeting.
Mr. President, I neglected to mention, I will not be here at the next board meeting. But I plan to be here the following board meeting.
Thank you, Director McCullough. Discussion regarding upcoming meetings to be attended by the board. This is for meetings that are not on the future meetings list in the packet. Does anyone have anything? Okay, request for future agenda items.
I have one request. I know that Aqua Region 8 is going to be losing a board member, and they've sent a notice out to everyone. If anybody has an interest, let them know. And so I would like to be considered.
Okay.
But I will let you know the person coming off was Metropolitan Water District's representative.
Oh,
John Morris is leaving. And so I put in a request with the Don that I would like to take his place, because I think having 2 Calleguas people on the board would be a stretch. But I'll let you know for sure.
Okay, so do you think you'll know in enough time to determine whether to agendize for the 19th Calleguas nomination? Need to know by next Thursday?
Oh, yeah. If not, I'll keep calling.
Okay, fair enough. Just another Aqua related item, just so the board knows, they've started the process for elections for the coming year, and we will need to take action to designate a voting representative. That voting representative will do their work online, but we have to officially designate that. So probably have that on the 19th, but
that'll
if
be at the
not,
next meeting as well.
if not, might be the following meeting.
Okay. Great. So next up is information items. Item A, Calleguas comment letter, County Water District AB 367, Assembly Member Steve Bennett, requirements for water suppliers to prepare for wildfire events.
Yes, as the board had in the packet, there was a very detailed comment letter on the proposed legislation that Assemblymember Bennett has put forth. This is a consolidation of comments from Calleguas staff as well as many of our purveyors. As you can see, it is quite detailed. Charlotte, do you want to add anything?
Sure, just.
Can you come up just the podium so everybody can hear?
Good evening, directors. So this bill will certainly have an impact on our purveyors if it's passed. The language is a little bit unclear on whether it would impact Calleguas. So we're really tracking it and being involved in the process because many of our purveyors do have a lot of concerns. So we relayed the letter to Assemblymember Bennett. I spoke with his staff last week. They are interested in ongoing conversations to try to improve this bill, and we're open to that. It's very early in the process for this bill. It hasn't even been scheduled for its first committee hearing yet. So we're hopeful that some of the things that we suggested will be adopted by the Assembly member, and we'll just keep you posted on those ongoing conversations.
Thank you, Charlotte.
You're welcome.
All right, and with that, I will be closing the open session for now and opening the closed session.
And we will go next door.
And we can go next door. Can you let me back into the meeting? .34 PM. As of now, I am closing the closed session and opening the open session. We do not have any of the public. And with that, I would like to go around the room from the board, give a couple comments about our general manager.
Okay, well, I guess I'll start. So one of the things I appreciate most about you as general manager is that you ended up hitting the ground running coming in. And the scope and breadth of what you've covered in the time to now has been pretty vast, comprehensive. A lot of new things, a lot of updates. And one of the things that I most appreciate is how many ways in which you've worked with people. And that's outreach as well as inside. And so I just want to commend you for what I think is a superb general manager's job.
Thank you, Director Whitey.
Thank you. Great. Director McMillan.
The entire time, it was nothing but bravo, 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 bravo. Everyone thinks you do an exceptional job. And we want to say you meet expectations for us, but that's because we have such high expectations of you. So we're very pleased with your performance. We love how you are keeping the morale up of staff. I think we're extremely lucky to have you, and we hope you stay for many, many years.
Thank you, Director McMillan. I appreciate that.
Director Collins.
Well, I'm really impressed with your engagement with Metropolitan, your team, how many hours you guys have been spending out there in Metropolitan committee meetings. And also with the purveyors. It seems to me like purveyors are open and you are open to the purveyors and they can come approach you and talk to them about their issues. And your willingness about to listen to them, have an open mind and help where you can. And those to me are great attributes from Metropolitan side, from purveyor side. And within the staff itself, I see under your leadership, we have a management team, which is very responsive. Any questions we ask and very respectful. And it seems everybody who works here enjoys their work. It's all because of you.
Thank you, Director Bacall.
Director Robert.
I'll keep mine short because everyone's already said everything that I think, but if you were just our general manager, you would be a fantastic one, but you are very much more than that, as is very clear to everyone. And you go above and beyond, even beyond being a general manager. So thank you. And you're wonderful for us.
Thank you, Director Robert.
Okay, and my turn. You have shown us how incredible you are with staff and really not just staff, but you've created almost a family here that everyone gets along. Everyone seems to enjoy working here. You have done an excellent and very well managed district here, and it's all thanks to you. And with that, I'd like to make the motion. The board met in closed session to discuss the performance of the district's general managers over the last period of 1 year. The board has evaluated her overall performance as extensive and excellent. After evaluation of the performance, the board of directors recommends 1, a 3.3% cost of living adjustment in accordance with the Consumer Price Index. 2, the establishment of a framework for goal setting. And three, the establishment of a salary pay scale for the the position of the general manager. And with that, I'm looking for a second.
There's one additional option
Additional?
item, I believe, number 4, about amending her employment contract for her review to be done every March.
And 4, execution of an amendment to take her employment contract or her performance evaluation to take place each March.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Director McCullough,
Yes.
Director McMillan,
Yes.
Director Robert,
Yes.
Director Whiting,
Aye.
Director Beals.
Aye.
Director Vila. Director Whiting. Okay, thank you.
Motion passes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Excellent work. And with that, sorry, I'm looking back at my notes here. Adjournment.